there are times that I feel like I just need to get off of Twitter. There are times that, not because I am opposed to the person or I support the person who owns the platform. It's not that. And it's not that I feel like it eats up too much of the day or too much of the night or too much of the time, okay? It's not that. Sometimes I think I need to get off of Twitter because people are fucking stupid. And I'm starting to think that a lot of the stupidest people in the world exist on Twitter. I know. For some of you, you're laughing right now because you're like, of course, we all know that. But I wanted to believe that there were some smart people. Now, I am not saying that this person is stupid because they're not. I don't actually know who the person is that runs the account, but it's some of the people who respond. So it's not the first person, okay? Flyers Clips, not a stupid person. I don't know who Flyers Clips is, but Flyers Clips does a nice job, has a good account over on Twitter. No issue with Flyers Clips, to be fair. But says, not going to pretend like my dream for this offseason isn't Giroux coming back and mentoring Matt Vey. And I just replied with no. So you can kind of guess where this is going to go. 5 replies, 16 likes. We all kind of know where this is going to go. The Giroux stands are they're going to come for blood, baby, because that's what they do. Now, Anthony DeGracio makes a good point. Sarcastic. You don't want a leader from one of the most forgettable eras of Flyers hockey of all time? Are you even a real fan? Then you get this person with the GIF. Trice 412 says yes. We get Sweaty Jowie. I don't know what that is, but says, shut the fuck up, Russ. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. MST says, why? He doesn't block anyone. He can dish Mishkov on power play 1. He allows puck control through having the best faceoff percentage in the NHL. Allows Coots to slide down a line or two. Truly, what is the downside of a 2-year deal? Then you get this person, Jeff Singletary, responding. I do think he would actually block some guys. He's a left wing now. They already have Tip and Forster there. They have Bump, Grabenkin, Peltier competing for the last 2 spots. Wouldn't hate G coming back, though. And this is the kind of person you get. We killed it. Says, because Russ thinks G was a failed player despite everyone understanding the front office was dog shit and did almost nothing to help him succeed outside of 2019 and 2012. Russ says outlandish shit about him for clicks and views. Don't listen to Russ. Okay. So this person, these are the kind of people that I'm just like, why? Why? I'll tell you why Claude Giroux shouldn't come back to Philly. I'll tell you why the Flyers shouldn't bring back Claude Giroux. He doesn't fit. He's not a center. He does jam up your situation on the wing. And I will also point out, I don't think Claude Giroux is a winning player. And people can whine and they can cry into their Claude Giroux pillows. They can take their Claude Giroux dolls and bobbleheads and they can make them shake their heads right now as I say it. But I don't think Claude Giroux is a winning player. I don't think he's got the winning DNA. I don't think he's going to help Matvei Mishkov. I think Matvei Mishkov would rip his fucking head off and shove it up his ass. Because Claude Giroux is not a winning player. I don't think Claude Giroux has ever really been a winning player. He's been a guy who can put up points. And to his credit, he is one of the best all-time point getters in Flyers history. And good on him. But he's not a fucking winning player. He's never been a winning player. When he played in Philadelphia, were there front offices that failed him? Yes, 100%. There were regimes in Philadelphia that did a shitty job of getting Claude Giroux help. No doubt, and I will give the guy that. There were entirely lost years where front offices did not fortify the team with enough top-end talent to help out Claude Giroux. But I will also point out that there were a number of years post the 2010 run to the Stanley Cup, post the trades of Richards and Carter, post the horrible injury that cost Chris Pronger his career and fundamentally altered probably the next 5 or 6 years of Flyers hockey, that this team did not do a good job of building a team. But there were still people in this city who, for some stupid reason, would compare Claude Giroux to Sidney Crosby. And it was a bullshit comparison at the time, and it has aged like sour milk. One guy is able to elevate everyone because he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats, and one is going to barely make a fringe case to try to make the Hall of Fame. They're not the same player. They wouldn't have been the same player. You could have put Claude Giroux in Sidney Crosby's Pittsburgh Penguins teams, and they wouldn't have won a fucking cup. You could have brought Sidney Crosby here. He probably would have taken the Flyers to at least a couple of conference finals, because there are levels to this game. And the thing that people have never been willing to accept is that Claude Giroux is not one of the all-time greats. He might be one of the best Flyers forwards in the last few decades. He is not a generational talent. It didn't matter if you were going to go out and acquire 2 or 3 other guys that could have helped the team. They weren't going to win a cup with him. He's not a winning player. Go back to the end of his tenure with Philadelphia. Chuck Fletcher's losing his mind. He finally decides we're gonna trade Claude Giroux, probably 2 or 3 years too late. Hextall probably should have done it when really trying to tear the thing down to the studs. Never had the balls to do it, or never had organizations or ownership's approval to do so. So Claude Giroux hangs out here for another 2 or 3 years when he shouldn't have been. Chuck Fletcher finally says, all right, fine, I'm going to trade you. Let's try to figure this thing out. There's an offer on the table from Colorado. Colorado, who could have won the Stanley Cup. Colorado, who Claude Giroux could have gone out to and hoisted the Stanley Cup with. It would have been a pretty much surefire thing to happen. And he says, no, I don't want to go to Colorado. Nah. He or someone around him says, I don't want to go to Colorado. Yeah, it's only for a couple of months. Yeah, unrestricted free agency's coming up. I don't want to go to Colorado. How about Florida? Yeah, I'll go to Florida, but only Florida. Don't even bother with other teams. The Rangers make a call. The Bruins make a call. The Caps make a... Nope. Colorado, absolutely not. But you could go and win a Stanley Cup there. No. Florida. Now, in fairness, Florida was in a really good position. Florida was in a really good spot to potentially make a deep playoff run. I would not have made them a cup favorite like I would have with Colorado because I want to go to Florida. So he does. And what happens? Nothing. They don't win. The year after he leaves, he doesn't choose to re-sign in Florida where he forced the Flyers' hands to go. He doesn't re-sign in Florida and try to win a cup there. He goes home to fucking Ottawa. Ottawa, the Senators, you may recognize them. They have been largely irrelevant for decades. Yes, they're in the playoffs right now and the Flyers aren't. And whoop-de-fucking-do. But he chooses to go to Ottawa. That is not a winning team. That has never really been a winning team in modern history. The Senators stink. And there was no one, not a single soul, not even the person with a plush and a bobblehead and a Claude Giroux hand-stitched sweater and blanket made of like different parts of t-shirts and rally towels and shit from his time in Philadelphia. Not even those people said, oh yeah, he's going to go win a cup with Ottawa. We all knew it. So if your goal isn't to win a Stanley Cup, what are you doing? You could have potentially or very strongly had a good chance of winning one in Colorado. You could have re-signed in Florida and gone after a cup there, but instead you went home to Ottawa. And you ain't winning a cup this year. Ain't gonna happen. So when people say, oh, Russ just says shit for clicks and for views, that is not true. I don't think he's a winning player. And a winning player would want to go to a team where they can go win a Stanley Cup. And maybe in the 1 out of every 100 opportunities, there's a player who goes home to a team that has a legitimate chance of winning a Stanley Cup. We can all laugh at Toronto. We can all laugh at John Tavares for leaving the Islanders to go to Toronto. But like that was at least a team and has been a team that has been at or near the top of the Eastern Conference and has a chance every year to potentially get to a Stanley Cup and and I laugh at them too, but has a chance to go on and win a Stanley Cup. Going back to Ottawa wasn't that. So if you ask me, why do I not want Claude Giroux to come back to Philadelphia? I will refer you to where I lost a lot of respect for the player when I was down covering that team. Now, in fairness, it wasn't every practice, it was games. It was all the home games. But going down in some of those Hextall years, going down in some of those Chuck Fletcher years, watching young players have to come out and answer questions post-game because the captain who was requested decided to make himself unavailable to the media. And like, people will think that this is like some kind of like, oh, you're just upset. No, there's a good way as a leader to handle responsibility. When you're the captain of a team and you're on the board to come out and speak to the media, you're expected to come out and speak to the media. That's just how the shit works. You don't like it, I don't know. Don't accept becoming the captain of the team. But for years, I would watch young guys from that team. We're talking about like the Phil Myers of the world, the Sanheims of the world, a younger Sean Couturier at that point, a younger Ivan Provorov at that point. These guys are coming out answering questions. I guess I'd throw Konechny in there too. These guys are being asked to answer all the questions because the captain didn't want to. How do you think that reverberates through a locker room? When you're getting your ass kicked every night and the captain isn't out there alongside you answering questions after another loss, how do you think that resonates in the locker room? You think it goes well? Do you think guys are like, oh, I get it? No, it doesn't. Now, it probably doesn't cause a huge rift in the locker room, but if I were a younger guy on a team, I keep losing and losing and losing, and the guy who's supposed to be the one that we go to battle with, supposed to be leading the charge, that guy, he'll be available after the coach. The media wants to come back around. After everyone is literally cleared out, you can go back and talk to him. No, sorry, that's not it. It's not it. Matvei Mishkov is a guy who very clearly wants to win, has the killer instinct, has the heart of a champion, has the thing that you want, and he's got it at 20 years old. There was that clip the other day that I talked about. There was the quote about him reaching out to Tortorella, thanking him for being his first coach, and that Tortorella didn't expect to hear from him, but it meant a lot to him that he heard from Mishkov. Mishkov right now is going to be the spiritual leader of that team. It might not happen this year. It might happen 2 years from now, 3 years from now, but he's got it. He has that it factor. He has that killer instinct. That is what you want. That is the kind of player you want to build around. Going and taking a trip on the retro roller coaster, going back and getting somebody from a dark time in Flyers history and bringing them back to this team is not something that helps you move forward. It is something that will always feel like you got desperate and you made an acquisition of a player from yesteryear, from a time that it didn't matter, to now somehow work with these younger guys and take them to the next level. And I don't think it's there. That is it. That is all. I don't think he was a bad player. He's not. And I said it at the top. I don't think that he's a bad player. I really don't. I think he's a very good player. I said he's one of the top point guys of all time with the Flyers. He's one of their best forwards in decades. And yet I just don't think that he's the guy that you build around. I don't think that he's a guy that you bring back into that locker room. And if that upsets you as a fan, I'm sorry.